What up, peoples? Big ups to you. It's your boy, Raj Groves, Believe in Chelsea FC. And coming up to the stage, former National Sports Talk host, my guy, Peter Brown. Peter, what's good?
Oh, I'll tell you what, Spurs are not good. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
Please,
let me.
won't kill us on Sunday, okay? Please.
Oh, stop it. And as you see, he's a big time, long time, legendary Spurs fan. And let me see. Of course, we got the matchup coming up this Sunday, Tottenham and Chelsea. Chelsea there. Chelsea sitting second, Tottenham currently at 10th. And I know Tottenham is not in their best form, winning only one of their last 5 games. But Spurs Stadium has been a house of horrors, as you taught me 20 years ago when you suckered me on the bet when Chelsea was riding high, and you said, "I bet you they'll lose." And Spurs, I was like, "What? Get out of here!" And y'all whoop, man, y'all beat us.
I was absent on the return trip to Stamford Bridge, where we haven't won for centuries. Okay.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, yeah, last time I think a win against Chelsea was February 2023. Now we've won 3 of the last 5 versus Tottenham with the draw, so we've done better against you guys. But how do you feel? I know you had the L yesterday, but how do you feel, Peter, about your Spurs hosting Chelsea this Sunday?
Well, it's not good, like you said. I mean, Chelsea's in form. I mean, they're playing as well as they have played in the last 5 years. They finally figured out the rotation of which guys go with which guys. That was always the problem. They were adding people, but it just didn't fit. It's kind of like Manchester United, same thing. You can add players all you want, but if they don't fit and they don't fit together, then there's a problem. I mean, our problem is everybody's hurt. I mean, you can't have Romero and Van de Ven and now Davies too, so we have nobody playing center back and take
Yeah.
on Palmer and the rest of Chelsea's front line. You just can't do that. Nobody can win under those circumstances. The only way you could have won is if Chelsea wasn't playing well. The unfortunate
Yeah.
part is Chelsea's playing better than almost everybody, including Arsenal, including City. Maybe the only team that's playing better is Liverpool because they also figured out where everybody goes. And that's the most important part, I think, in English Premier League soccer is figuring out which 11 fit together the best. And once you do that, as City did for the last 7 years, now with Rodri out, they don't have that anymore. That's the problem. And Chelsea is doing that right now. And I think they're the team that will challenge Liverpool, not Arsenal, not anybody else. I think that Chelsea is the real threat now to Liverpool.
Well, yeah, speaking of injuries, like I definitely empathize with you there. I remember last year under Potch, your former manager, a lot of people blamed that on Potch, like his training regimen, having him sprint. Chelsea had a rash of injuries, never had Caicedo, let Lavy out there for more than a handful of games, in and out, and you just can't compete that way. You can't compete when everyone's hurt.
And you can't spend $60 million on a striker in Richarlison and have him out all the time. You just can't do it. Because there's going to be a time now when Solanke gets tired. We're now in Europa League. So that's Thursday, Sunday. And now you're into the holiday period, which is you play every other day. You play 3 games a week. You can't have guys injured at this point. You can have them in September, October, but not now. So health becomes a huge issue with how well you're playing. And Chelsea, again, right now, healthy as they've been.
Yeah. No, 100%, 100%. Except for one person, and I bring this up a lot, and I said a couple years ago, we should sell this guy. I love him when he's healthy. Reece James is one of the best right backs, maybe the best right back in the Premier League when he's healthy. My man is on the milk carton all the time. I mean, you want to hear the games missed? With my man Reece James last season, he missed 38 games. Season before, 25 games. Season before that, 26. If you're Chelsea, would you sell him in 2? Could you even get any? How much could you get for Reece?
No, you can't. Not now, because with his injury history, it makes it very difficult. It was the same issue when Chiellini became available during the summer window. Nobody wanted him. Why? Because he's got injury issues. When you have injury issues, because look, for Reece James, you're going to have to get $50, $60 million. I mean, you're not going to get him for 35. So if that's he better be healthy. So when he's not healthy, that makes it really, really difficult. And it's a shame, dude, because, look, they made him the captain, right? They made him the premier guy in that back line, and then he's not available. That makes it really, really tough. I mean, not that I have any sympathy for Chelsea, but if I did, that would be the one area where I would sympathy. he's the leader, he's the guy that sort of runs the show. They're kind of missing that. If they're missing one thing, that's it. The guy they can turn to and count on because he's not
Yeah.
there.
Well, speaking of someone you can turn to and count on, you mentioned the rash of injuries for Tottenham right now. Of course, you're going through it. Who is the guy that you guys can turn to? Who should Chelsea be most concerned with that's going to be on that pitch Sunday?
Well, I mean, the guy you really need to worry about, ironically, and that's because of a position change, is Kulishevsky. He's played better than anybody else this season. He has been the most consistent. And look, it should say inconsistent Spurs should be their name, should be the team name. It shouldn't be
Yeah.
Tottenham or it should be inconsistent Spurs. Everybody will know what you're talking about. Because
Yeah.
again, you can't beat Man City 4-0 and lose to Ipswich. I mean, you can't do that. That's inconsistency. The only one that's been consistent all year has been Kulishevsky. And the shame is the guy you wanted to be that guy, and I did because I love him, was Madison. And Madison will score 2 goals against Manchester City, and then you watch him against, Bournemouth yesterday, and somehow you think, God, is he a U12 player? I mean, he can't get past anybody.
Yeah.
And it's disheartening to see that. Because when they play up to their potential, they can beat Manchester City 3-0. 4-0. They can beat Manchester United 3-0. But when they're inconsistent, they can lose to Ipswich and Bournemouth and anybody else. So if they're inconsistent Sunday, it wouldn't surprise me if it were 4-1 or 4-0 because it's
Yeah.
the inconsistency that beats them, not necessarily the other team.
Okay, so that's who Chelsea should be concerned with. If you're Tottenham, who are you most concerned with on the Chelsea squad? Who's going to give you the most issues?
Oh, Palmer. I mean, he's the best player. I mean, he's the best player on Chelsea. He might be the best player in the league. I mean, he is dangerous because he has the ability to open people up, which is always dangerous. And if he has space, which nobody gives space like Tottenham. I mean, NASA doesn't give space like Tottenham in the back third. I mean, it's goodness gracious. Yesterday, Bournemouth could have had like 9 goals because everybody was open. I'm
Oh, my.
either. Like, he's not even in the shot. Like, he's not even in the TV shot, and it's a wide angle.
Yeah.
So, Palmer in space could hat trick very easily. I mean, very easily. So that's where the danger comes in because he does so many different things. Jackson or Nduku, any of those guys, they do good work, don't get me wrong, but they're finishers. Palmer's a creator, and creators give Tottenham a tremendous amount of problems. Because, again, you can block a shot if the guy is in front of you and he's just going to shoot and he's a forward. They can do that. But if Palmer's going to create opportunities and create space for himself, good night. I mean, it could be all over, and it could be over early if he does that, or in the beginning part of the game. And let's remember too, he is the best player in the league right now. I don't think he's any better.
I think you said creativity. Like Nguku's our best finisher for me. But the best player is Palmer. One thing I'm noticing this season, you have to tell me from dealing with this, you've had star players, is he's getting star treatment though. People are clipping at his heels a little bit, chopping those Achilles, play him a lot tighter. So yes, he's still like Nguku has the most goals overall, in all competitions. Of course, he's playing in. You said something like Europa League, that'd be great. We're playing in some damn thing called the Conference Leagues. Like they played in a Walmart parking lot. You know what I mean? It's a great league, really prestigious.
Come
But
on.
but I do notice they're playing Palmer a bit tight, so I want to see how he responds in this last game. Of course, last week, and even against Southampton, a goal and assist during the week. It's like, all right, they can only do so much with him. They're a last place team, but
space. That's just it. The good players find space. Look, there was many times during his history. Look, you knew where Harry Kane was. You knew where he was going to be, but yet he found a way. He only needed a little space, and that's Palmer. Palmer only needs a little space, which is why Southgate should have been fired long ago for being England manager, for not using him in that situation. When he was in, he created opportunities for England. Jeremy
Foden didn't have a goal and assist in that entire damn thing.
I don't think he still does for City because he doesn't do that. Bellingham's not as good at doing that. Bellingham's a great player, but if you bottle him up, it's over for Bellingham. That's not the case for the guys who can create space. Doku can create space. Certainly, Palmer can create space. Look, these managers are not stupid. I mean, we're not stupid. I mean, if I have an option of marking a guy, would I not mark Cole Palmer? Of course I'm going to mark him. So it's going to be tight. So his ability to still be good while being covered is what makes them great, and that's the difference.
Well, one advantage you do have, this will be the first Premier League game where they're going to allow 11 on 12. Well, not the first, because Anthony Taylor is going to be the referee,
Thank
who, of
God.
course, hates Chelsea. So I think you guys have an advantage there. Tell me how you see this game on Sunday. Of course, you guys coming off a loss. You're still in 10th, though, with 20. So what are you, about 6 points off of maybe
Yeah,
fourth? Yeah. So how do you see Tottenham responding on this game? How do you see them trying to play Chelsea's formidable attack, as you mentioned?
I don't know. Do you have a coin? It's like you flip it. I have no idea. Which is showing up? The one that played Manchester City and always beats Manchester City, mind you. Okay.
Mhm.
Or the team that lost to Ipswich and Bournemouth. I have no idea. That's the problem. And I don't
Mm.
know that Ange has an idea either. I mean, Postecoglou tries to do the issue of, look, I'm going to give you my style. You
Right.
then are go out and play it. In typical Spurs fashion, all the Facebook, oh, you know, fire Ange, we stink, we're the worst team ever every time we lose. But the problem is, and they're also mentioning the fact that Postecoglou doesn't coach from the sideline. He doesn't really say anything to them because he's not a joystick manager. He's a guy that says, this is our style. I've taught you how to play it. We've gone over it in training. Now go do it. So when
Mhm.
you don't do it, he's kind of like, I can't really grab you by the back of your neck and force you to do it. So that's where the inconsistency comes in. So I don't know where Spurs' head is going to be. Is it going to
Yeah.
be, well, our backs are to the wall, we're in 10th, we're like probably closer to relegation than we are in the front? Or are we terrible and we've got injuries and who cares and we finish ninth and we go back to Europe? Who gives a crap? I don't
Yeah.
know. I just don't know. And I would like to think that these guys have pride and would physically and emotionally want to be up, especially because it's Chelsea. I mean, if we hate Arsenal, Chelsea's 1A. I mean, it's not like we don't hate them worse. It's,
Of course.
yeah.
Yes.
So remember that. Like remember the Alamo. Remember Chelsea. Remember the title race. Remember Leicester winning. If you can do that and get your cojones up, maybe they bring it, and maybe they win a 3-2 game. But
Yeah.
without that, it could be 4-0, 4-1 very easily the opposite way. And I just don't know.
Mm.
If I did, I'd be a rich man.
Love it, love it. Hey, one thing you do know about former manager Mauricio Pochettino, who's Poch, of course, is managing Team USA now. Now, I'm not a Team USA guy. I follow Brazil and I like England because of all the Chelsea lads. But what, for the people that do love Team USA, what is Poch going to bring to their national squad?
Well, he'll bring coordination and organization. One of the things he did when he did it with Sunderland, when he did Southampton, and he works really well with smaller clubs that are sort of scrapping a little bit, that can't really
Yeah.
find. Not as good with teams like Chelsea, like teams that are already established because they have hierarchies, and they have
Mhm.
egos, and they have things that go on with bigger players. But he is great. I mean, spectacular. And he was great with Tottenham until they got to the Champions League final. Then it
Oh,
was, well, I might give an opportunity to Barcelona or to, and all of a sudden his focus changed. Instead of being Tottenham's manager for life, he started talking about going back to Spain and
oh,
lost the team. That's why they struggled in those first 10 games the next year because they're like, yeah, he's going to leave anyway. If we're successful, he's going to leave. But Team USA is the perfect dysfunctional family to
hmm,
deal with. I mean, Berhalter never got his hands around it. Never could figure out how to get them all together. He had Pulisic, who was a star, and then he had families fighting with him that they should be playing, and he just didn't have the personality for it. Pochettino, has respect because he's been to a Champions League final, because he's played in the biggest clubs in Europe, and he knows what to do. He knows how to organize them. They're young. They're raw. He was the perfect choice. I couldn't have asked for a better choice for the United States men's team than Pochettino because now if the United States ever wins the World Cup, I'd fire him immediately because he's useless once he gets.
once he's on top.
I'm lathering all over Pochettino.
Good call. Good call. All right. Well, that's Peter Brown, former national sports talk host, huge Spurs fan. Drop you the knowledge, Peter. I got a new ringtone for you. Figure you might want this ringtone.
All right, if not, I'm taking goals. I'm taking like 3 or 4 goals.
Well, good stuff. Look, we'll talk again. And I actually, I do hate Tottenham, but it sucks to see you guys so damn bad. I at least want you to be relevant so I can,
I'm gonna buying it. Stop. I'm not. It's a lie. You're not convinced. Yeah.
All right, big ups, Peter Brown. Once again, Raj Groves, Believe in Chelsea FC. You can check it out, the podcast, YouTube, Spotify, what's the thing, Apple, all that good stuff. Drop a like.
For everybody. We're just going to
Yeah, get it to everybody. Big ups, Peter. Until next time, guys, let's get it, Blues. Good stuff. That was fun, Pete. Yeah, we'll do it again when they play again.
We could get really absolutely.